The air inside the rehearsal hall was still heavy from the aftershocks of Sam Heughan's explosive clash with Lia Williams. Pages of script still littered the floor, props sat overturned, and the silence was deafening. It wasn't just a rehearsal gone wrong. It was the kind of moment that could shatter an entire production. Crew members whispered nervously in corners, their voices tinged with panic. Would Macbeth ever recover? Tabloids outside the theater were already buzzing. Rumors spread with every passing hour. Sam quits? Lia to be replaced? Macbeth doomed? Headlines screamed of violence and betrayal. The once highly anticipated production was transforming into a scandal too hot to contain. But amidst the chaos, one figure arrived quietly, her presence immediately commanding respect. Caitríona Balfe, actress, longtime friend, and trusted confidant, walked into the room with calm determination. She wasn't part of the cast, but she was part of the family. She knew both Sam and Lia, and she understood better than most how fragile egos could destroy even the grandest of projects. Without hesitation, Caitríona gathered the scattered cast into a circle. Her voice was steady, though her eyes betrayed a flicker of concern. "We are not going to let this collapse," she said firmly. "Not like this." Her focus then shifted to the absent stars at the heart of the storm. Sam had stormed out of rehearsal days earlier, while Lia had refused to apologize, standing by her claims of unprofessional behavior. Both were unreachable. The director muttered that the production couldn't continue without reconciliation, but no one knew how to make that happen. Caitríona did. She sent messages to both Sam and Lia, summoning them to meet her, not as rivals, not as co-stars, but as people who once shared respect for each other. Hours later, the scene unfolded behind closed doors. Caitríona sitting between Sam and Lia in a small rehearsal chamber, the tension so thick it seemed to vibrate in the air. Sam's face was drawn, exhaustion evident. He looked like a man torn between anger and despair. Lia, sharp and composed, carried herself with icy restraint. Every glance between them was a dagger. Caitríona broke the silence. "This isn't just about Macbeth," she began, her voice low and deliberate. "This is about pride, about wounds you've both been carrying long before Shakespeare's words entered this room." Sam bristled. "She humiliated me in front of everyone." Lia shot back, her tone clipped. "And he frightened everyone with his rage. That isn't leadership, it's chaos." For a moment, it seemed like the argument would ignite again. But Caitríona leaned forward, her hands pressed firmly on the table. "Enough," she said, her tone sharper than either expected. "If you destroy each other, you destroy everything. But maybe," she paused, her eyes narrowing, "maybe this fight isn't about the play at all." The room fell silent. Sam's brow furrowed, Lia's lips tightened. Caitríona held their gaze with quiet intensity. "I know more than either of you realize," she continued. "There's something you've both tried to bury, something that has been poisoning this room long before that table was slammed or those words were shouted." Sam shifted uncomfortably. Lia's composure cracked for just a moment, her eyes flickering downward. "What are you talking about?" Sam demanded, though his voice wavered. Caitríona didn't answer directly. Instead, she let the words hang in the air like smoke, filling the chamber with suspense. She leaned back, her voice quieter now but sharper than ever. "When the truth comes out, neither of you will be able to hide behind your roles." The implication was clear. There was a secret, a hidden truth that Caitríona held in her hands. And whether it destroyed them or saved them, only she knew. By the time the meeting ended, Sam stormed out again, though less violently, while Lia left in silence, her expression unreadable. Caitríona remained behind, staring at the empty rehearsal room. She had calmed the immediate storm, but what she hinted at was far more dangerous than any argument on stage. And so the question spread like wildfire among cast, crew, and fans alike. What was the hidden secret Caitríona Balfe knew? And how would it change the fate of Macbeth forever? The tension that Caitríona Balfe left hanging in that small rehearsal chamber spread like a contagion. Whispers rippled through the theater corridors, bouncing off every wall. What secret did Caitríona mean? Crew members speculated endlessly. Some believed it was personal, an old affair, perhaps. Others insisted it was professional, something buried in the history of the production itself. No one knew, and Caitríona wasn't talking. But she had promised Sam and Lia a second meeting, one where she would lay everything bare. That meeting would change the trajectory of Macbeth, and their lives, forever. 2 nights later, in a dim rehearsal space lit only by the faint glow of stage lamps, Sam and Lia faced each other once more. This time, neither stormed out. They came because Caitríona had insisted. They came because the tension was unbearable, and they needed answers. Caitríona began softly, almost mournfully. You both think this fight is about control, about who holds the stronger vision of Macbeth. But it isn't. This has been brewing for years. And it's time you both stop pretending. Lia crossed her arms, her face defiant but her eyes restless. Get to the point, Caitríona. Sam stayed silent, though his fists were clenched tight in his lap. Finally, Caitríona leaned forward, her voice steady. The truth is, neither of you ever let go of what happened during the Winter's Tale 5 years ago. The words struck like lightning. Sam looked up, startled. Lia's composure faltered, her lips parting as if she'd been punched in the gut. That production, Caitríona continued, was where all of this began. Sam, you felt undermined. Lia, you felt betrayed. And the truth is, neither of you ever told the company what really happened backstage. The room felt suffocating. Sam muttered, you promised you'd never bring that up. Lia's eyes filled with tears, but she blinked them back fiercely. We made an agreement, she whispered. But Caitríona pressed on, her voice firm. That night, when the entire crew thought the performance was cancelled because of technical failure, it wasn't. It was because of the fight between you two. And the truth is, it wasn't just about theater, was it? Gasps filled the small chamber. What Caitríona had implied was devastating. The rage between Sam and Lia wasn't born in Macbeth. It was a scar from the past, carefully hidden, now ripped open again. Sam stood abruptly, pacing the room like a man trapped. His voice shook with anger, but also with grief. You think I wanted this out? You think I wanted people to know what we did? Lia's tears finally spilled, her voice trembling. It wasn't supposed to matter anymore. We swore to move on. But Caitríona wouldn't relent. You didn't move on. You buried it, and buried secrets always find a way of clawing back to the surface. The silence that followed was unbearable. Sam's hands trembled. Lia wiped her face, her mascara streaking, her breathing shallow. The weight of truth hung in the air, heavier than any line Shakespeare ever wrote. Finally, Sam sank into a chair, his anger collapsing into exhaustion. Maybe it's better this way, he admitted quietly. Maybe we finally stop pretending. Lia, broken but resolute, nodded slowly. We can't change what happened. But maybe we can stop destroying each other because of it. Caitríona exhaled, relief washing across her face. For the first time in weeks, the storm had broken. The chaos had slowed. There was still pain, but now there was also acknowledgement. The rehearsal space that had once felt cursed now felt lighter. The production, against all odds, might still stand a chance. By morning, word had leaked. Not the full story. No one outside the chamber knew exactly what Caitríona had revealed, but enough to fuel headlines. Balfe mediates Sam-Lia war, hidden truth exposed. Fans reacted with a mix of shock and relief. The prospect of Macbeth going forward now seemed possible again. And though the secret itself remained cloaked in mystery, the idea of a dark, buried history gave the scandal new life. Sam returned to rehearsal. Lia showed up, too. They didn't speak much, but their performances shifted. There was a rawness, a vulnerability that hadn't been there before. It was as if Shakespeare's tragedy had fused with their own, and the audience would feel it in every word. And yet, whispers persisted. Had Caitríona truly told the whole truth? Or had she carefully chosen which part of the past to reveal, leaving the darkest detail still locked away? For now, relief had replaced panic. But beneath that relief, shadows lingered. And everyone who had witnessed the explosion between Sam and Lia knew the story wasn't over. Not by a long shot.